And we lived in Newcastle. This used to be known as the Sunken Roundabout, and this used to be a park area with fountains and lots of flowers. Well, the fountains have gone, but the flowers are there. It's actually looking much better than I remember it. Lisa's certainly going to appreciate all the flowers around here.
My favourite flowers here, one of them.
What's they called?
Colour, isn't it? Same as my nails. Crocosmia.
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 Look at the beautiful colours there. Really pretty. A whole bunch of sunflowers in the middle.
Yes.
It was neglected down here a lot over the years. These railings actually look quite good. The railings weren't there originally. And the subways used to be a magnet for graffiti. Well, instead of graffiti, they tiled it, and they put some really quite nice pictures. This is Newcastle under Lyme in bloom. What a nice message to put up there. Please respect. The town itself, though, is a little bit run down in that a lot of the shops have gone that we used to know. The market really doesn't function the way the market used to. In fact, we rarely get very many market stalls. So we see far too many things like this to let. It's one of the car parks down there we used to use. And cash converters. We have this in Mallorca. Brassington's gone. Pub across the road. It's never called the Mitchells before, so that's changed its name. The Golden Line up there hasn't changed its name. So the market used to run all the way down to the bottom here at one time. It's not a market day to day, so there might be just a few antique second-hand sort of stalls. Good to see that Cheadle's Butchers is still there. That's been around for a very long time. Place we used to go to get our meat. So this is where the market is now based, and even on a good market day, the stalls are rarely full. Your haircut there. It's a Swiss barbers. Antique, second-hand sorts of things here. Shop coming up on the left-hand side, which is now Poundland. That used to be our local Woolworths. as a child, I suppose, Saturday morning, one of the places you used to nip down to was Woolworths. The outside hasn't changed at all, other than the signage. And pretty much inside it's the same as well. They've got the same doors, the same everything pretty much as Woolworths had. Someone set off an alarm. As in many towns, there's lots of charity shops. There's one for the Douglas Macmillan Home, the Dougie Mac. That used to be somewhere else in Newcastle. It used to be here. This used to be Halford's. Car accessories place, but now it's a place that sells charity goods. A few more stalls here, music, records. Let's have a look, see if they've got something warm for me. Freezing in England, isn't it? And there's the Newcastle Guildhall. Just coming up to 10 o'clock. McDonald's. And here you can get all the good football shirts. Here, look at this. Stoke City.
No chance, mate. No fucking way I'm getting robbed.
You get a lot of that.
Looks like some major works going on here. What's happening? Years ago I used to come down here to go to the cinema, and there used to be a cinema called the Rex, two cinemas actually, the Rex and the Rio. Spent some many happy hours there with my mate Martin. Sometimes too many happy hours. Parents would be worried about where we were. Boots. Boots is still here, but looking very dilapidated. It says it's open as usual, even though the place looks as though it's falling down. Just further down there we've got what used to be the wine vaults, which is where Anita and I very first did our dating many years ago. It used to be a pub and had a restaurant above. I remember going there for either my 18th birthday or Anita's 18th birthday. Down below we've got Wayne's, Clement Wayne's, always used to fascinate me, the photography shop, and a few shops further down there. Bridal shop there, but it says it's to let. More places up there to let. We're just going to go down the Iron Market now, see if I can catch up with the girls. And all of this area is pedestrianised, so you'd expect it to be flooded with people, but as you can see, the place is deserted. There's Cafe Nero. You might work again somewhere like that for a coffee, because it's starting to rain. Looks like I'm going to have to find a raincoat. I wasn't expecting that. But that's how it goes. Wow, so the Bull's Head is still there, but the gallery that went through is now closed. That's something I hadn't seen before. I say it's a pedestrianised area. They do allow blue badge people to park here. I don't know. Somehow we end up with a Rolex shop in Newcastle, and really can't imagine who comes down to Newcastle to buy a Rolex. As you can see, it's charity shops. Oxfam, PDSA. So the iron market really has changed a lot over the years, and I'm not sure any of it is for the better. Just walking down now towards the Queen's Gardens. It used to be, I don't know if there still is, but it used to be a post office down there. I think that's long gone. All the old pubs have sort of changed. I don't know what that was. George and Dragon, I'm pretty sure that must have been a pub for a long time. Across there, it's now called Reflex. And then, all in between us leaving the area and coming back, this sort of little shopping area has evolved, and that really now is the main shopping street. So the high street and the main street and even the iron markets now sort of become a disaster area, and that is now the main shopping street. So I'll have a look down there a little bit later on. I'll come down and have a look at this magnificent building, which is not so magnificent. It used to be the library. But on this particular site there was a beautiful building, a really old building, Victorian I guess, and that was demolished, and they decided to build this modern library, which Anita and I used to use a lot. And it had got a lending library at the bottom and then a reference library, and Anita and I during our A-levels spent many days in there revising for our A-levels. Well, it's now going to be a new development, 36 apartments and retail space. So I suppose the retail space has got to be a good idea. And the apartments, very, very useful. So, well, if it becomes affordable housing. Just behind that, and you can't actually get through, so there used to be an alleyway there, but the building where you can see the steel staircases going up and down, that used to be the police station. And they closed all of that down, and they built this new building across the road. I'll talk about the Arnold Machin in a moment, but this new building here used to be the site of a school, primary school, and now they've now combined everything. So this is the council offices, this is the library, and if you need to go to the police station you have to go to the library. And this is Queen's Gardens. So the old Victorian school went, and they built this modern building in its place. Gardens, we've always liked. It's called the Queen's Gardens. There's a statue there of Queen Victoria, so it's the Queen Victoria Gardens if you wanted to do that. And at the moment there's lots of bunting around celebrating 850 years of the borough of Newcastle under Lyme. So when I was a child at school, I had to do a project to virtually write a book for history on something historical, and I chose to do the octocentenary. So that was 50 years ago. I must have done the octocentenary. Coming back to this Arnold Machin, which is now Wetherspoons. This was the original post office, and grand building. Good to see that it hasn't been demolished and it has got a new use. I'll leave it up to you to decide whether Wetherspoons is a good use of such a lovely building. It does still actually at the top say post office. So that was the main entrance of the post office, and just down the side where the deliveries are going right now was where the postman used to have to go. And my father used to work down there, and I used to work down there, and Anita used to work down there, so we've all actually done our little bit. We've never worked in that part, we've never worked in the the actual front desk, but we used to do mailing. My father was a postman, and he managed to get us onto the post office as students, and we used to work incredible hours there. We used to do 16-hour days as students, earning loads of money. It was really, really good.
It's for
I'll change that.
Britain and Bloom, does it? Is that what you're doing?
The lady's just explaining to me that Newcastle under Lyme has now been entered into Britain in Bloom, so that's why we're seeing so many lovely flowers in the area, and all hanging out. And really, I do hope it sort of helps to put Newcastle on the map and get people to come down here. That's where I used to come. I used to be down here every Saturday morning. I think we would be down here. So maybe this is going to be a turning point. Now I have lost the ladies. I'll just take you down this. To me, I would call it new, but I bet people who live in Newcastle now don't think of it as new. But this wasn't here when we came, when we used to live here. So in that respect, it is new to us. You can see even down here, which is now, I would say, the main shopping street. We have empty units. Top brands, bargain prices. Ooh, who needs a holiday? If we've got any bargains to Mallorca. There's another charity shop, so even they're taking over here as well. Oh, I've got a hat. Don't need a hat now, I've got one. In fact, I've got two. No, I've got three. Anita's bought some card games for the girls to take on holiday with us. Peacocks.
Sorry?
I think you want to eat me and me.
Store here called Wilco, which sells pretty much anything and everything, odds and sods. Usually quite bargain prices, but there's the bus station. You need to catch a bus into Newcastle, that's where it comes in. And we've just done really a bit of a circular route because down there we've got Poundland, the one that used to be Woolworths. Well, we're down to the market area now, and we've got all manner of bargains. Going to the steam railways. I think this is the place for you. You've got lots of books, models, and lots of other memorabilia back there.
Yeah. You have to do it.
Music stand for Anita. That's it. And the Economic Building Society, that used to be our building society. Oh, we're going to, I noticed this place before, called Bygones. It says, come in, we're awesome. Let's go in, see why they're awesome. They got knocked down by a pigeon.
Go to bygones because we're old.
Bit like going into a museum. We've even got a test card on the telly. I just said this is one of those sorts of places where you said we used to have one of them. So this cabinet here right next to Anita, we used to have one of those. Look at the roof there, there's a rack which you dried your clothes on. That's a record player, I think. A mangle over there. Used to have a mangle. Place to bring back all sorts of memories. Just in the corners, a telephone box. Tea time.
Try.
Well done. I'm not a big tea drinker, but when I do drink tea, it's usually Earl Grey. There's a nice cup of Earl Grey. Tea strainer, get the leaves out.
Yeah.
You don't put milk.
I always put a drop of milk in.
In Earl Grey? Ooh, no. Well, we just had to make a quick dash to the car because it's pouring down with rain and we've got a lunch appointment. So thanks very much for watching. We look forward to seeing you in our next video. Bye for now.